Hello, hello. Filters. Add a filter. Gain. Check, 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 check 1, 2. I'm checking on this microphone again. Always the same problem. I think that's good. Let's have a little bit of fun with this. Let's add some text. Oh, I can hear myself. You love me, I love you. Let's see how this goes. Let's make it smaller. I think that's good. Now let's move it here. How's that? You love me, I love you. How's that? And if we do this, how about that? I think it's too much honesty. How's that? I think it looks better. But let's add some outline. How's that? Outline. Let's make it black. I think that's more honest. Okay, so in vertical, let's put it like this. Some people on their phones can read. And let's change this. To something else. Let's put West Huff. Yeah, let's do West Huff. I think that's better. I think that's better. Okay, so how do I put... Oh, what did I do? Browser source. How do I show the browser? Edit sync transitions. Manage dual output. This down here. Nope. Up here. This down here. Still learning how to use this software. Okay, how do I put the browser? I think it's a window capture. Window capture. Audio capture. Window capture. YouTube. Okay. So let's put two kinds of Christians. Oh my God. How do I fix this? Oh, this is not looking good. Learning how to use this software. So far I like it. Let's fix it in this one. How's that? I have to learn how professionals do this because I'm not one. How's that? How's that? Okay, today I was watching a video from Kirk Cameron. I guess on his podcast, the title of the video, The Two Kinds of Christians. I have mentioned on my videos that in my point of view, there are two types of Christians. The ones that give the money and the ones that get the money. The ones that give the money normally are the listeners, the followers, and the ones that get the money, probably in the case of Kirk Cameron, are the ones that talk about God, whatever about God. Those are the ones that take the money. So those are the two types of Christians. Probably you can head to Kirk Cameron's website, YouTube channel, and listen to this video about what he defines as the two types of Christians. Mostly of what you are going to hear on his video, in my opinion, is stuff that he just goes and then made up or fix it and move it around so it looks good, so it makes sense, so it's sellable. But most likely nothing that you can use in your life that is usable, that is applies to real life. But that was interesting. Today, also, I saw a video of what's his name? Nick Fuentes and Piers Morgan. It was an interview of Nick Fuentes, and I found it extremely interesting. A while back, I thought that Nick Fuentes was just being like childish, outrageous, probably saying stuff just to get views. The more I hear him talk, and especially on this interview, I kind of understand where he's coming from. I think in a way he's pushing the boundaries back, trying to make some room back for reality, for freedom. I think more and more there's more people broken emotionally and they want to put boundaries way out there. Putting boundaries on what you can think and what you can say, what you can talk about. So I think he's pushing back on these limits, on these boundaries. Even though I don't agree with everything that he has to say, I understand where he's coming from, and I think in a way he's right. Yeah, I'm not going to go into specifics unless someone would ask me a question specifically about what he says. But definitely, I think there are countries that will benefit to have someone like him as part of their citizens. I think that Piers Morgan was being very aggressive and emotional in this interview with Nick Fuentes. I actually thought that he was going to start drooling or white bubbles was going to come out of his mouth from Piers Morgan because of how upset he was. I think that he lost control of his emotions in this interview, and I think Nick Fuentes stood neutral, very controlled, and in my humble opinion, I think that Piers Morgan looked very bad in this interview. I think he was losing control. He was getting very emotional, and we don't know. Maybe Piers Morgan was doing it because getting emotional in on TV or on YouTube, you get lots of views. I don't know, but it was an interesting interview. I think it's worth listening to what Nick Fuentes has to say about anything that he talks about. I think he really pushes the boundaries, and I truly understand where he's coming from. I actually think he has a lot of guts to say what he says because most people in most countries don't have the guts that this kid has to be able to say whatever they want. In the same line, talking about Nick Fuentes and all the crazy stuff that he has to say, I wanted to say something, especially knowing that Piers Morgan is apparently from England, UK. For me, that country, is my opinion, has turned into an empire. An empire is coming from an empire to a shithole. Please be aware, I use sometimes not very professional language in this live stream. So if you're offended easily, I would recommend not to listen to this live stream. As I was saying, UK has gone from being an empire to being a shithole. I feel sorry for all the people from UK. Your country, you have, in my opinion, has lost your country. I think there's people starting to realize that they have lost their country and they're trying to take action, but I think it's a little bit too late. It's already taken. Now, if you try to do anything in UK to oppose this craziness that is going on over there, you're most likely going to go to jail. I mean, I think there's people going to jail because having the wrong thoughts. If you have not seen those videos, just do a little research on YouTube and you're going to see with your own eyes the crazy stuff that is going on in UK. So probably someone inside UK cannot say that UK is a shithole, but I don't live in UK, so I can say it clearly, openly, and without fear. So for people in UK, hey, I'm with you. UK has turned into a shithole. The one thing that probably you're not gonna be very happy me saying this is that at the end and optimally, whatever happens in your country is your responsibility. I mean, you could blame immigrants from other country about taking over your country, but still your country. And optimally, whatever happens in your country is your responsibility. So if you're not happy with what's going on over there in UK, all the craziness that is going there, that what I call a shithole country, awful, horrible. I don't know if anybody can live over there with the amount of fear that you have to live in that country. Wow. I think, again, optimally is the responsibility of the owners, the citizens of UK, what's going on over there. It is my understanding, my belief, my point of view, and my opinion, okay, that there is one only source to all the horrible things that you are experiencing in UK, being one of them, not having any more freedom just because you have the wrong thoughts. It is my opinion that the source of this whole entire mess that you guys are going through, and most countries are going through right now, including the USA, is the irresponsibility of the citizens of the country. And with that, I don't mean to be offensive, like hey, you're responsible. I'm referring to not being able to respond to whatever is going on. If you want to do something for your country, UK, what are the options? Go out to the street. Maybe you go to jail because you're causing a commotion. Someone can call you a terrorist because you're trying to fight for your liberties. This problem that UK is in right now, and lots of countries are right now, comes from one source: ignorance from the citizens of the country. If the citizens of a country, the owners of the country, don't take responsibility for whatever is going on in their country, how are you going to solve the problem? As long as you keep blaming someone else, some other race, some other country for your internal problems in your country, you're never gonna be able to solve your internal problems. And UK, I decided to talk about UK because that's my prerogative. You know, I could talk about any other country. I could talk about this country that I live right now. But I decided to talk about UK just because I saw Piers Morgan talking in an interview with Nick Fuentes. And I feel very sad about what's going on in the UK also. That's why I decided to talk about it in this live stream. So I think I heard some people saying, you know, people in the UK are weak. Men are weak. They're not fighting for their country. Maybe that's true. Maybe it's not. I think the problem is bigger. When you are a citizen of UK, you're supposed to be the owner of that country. But if you're not able to make decisions about your country, you're not in control. Someone else is in control, and someone can hijack your government and make it go against you. So not being able to respond, being irresponsible is a big problem. Being ignorant, not knowing that you own the country and you're supposed to be in control of your country is a big problem. When you relinquish your power in your country and you give it to a small group of people, why would someone complain saying, hey, we gave our power as a country to this small group of people, now we're complaining about it? It's a big problem. So in case you're asking, okay, so what's the solution? What's the solution? So in the UK, what is the solution? I mean, first of all, it's a little bit too late. I don't mean to laugh, but yeah, it's probably a little bit too late. I think your country was already taken. it's going to be very hard to take it back. And with that, I'm not saying that you're supposed to be doing that, because I know there's going to be people out there that are going to be saying, oh, Javier is saying that to take it by force and do this. No, come on. I'm not saying any of that. But I think in a way, UK is lost. I mean, I think probably in 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, it's not going to be called UK anymore. It's going to be something else. Probably something from Asia or something like that. I think when I see these videos about police officers and judges saying the most crazy things, outrageous things, I can only think about one thing going through their mind. They're fearful. Police officer will get into someone's house, arrest them in front of their kids just because they say something that made someone else a little bit uncomfortable. Not even a threat or anything like that. And they go to jail. Why would a cop, they're supposed to defend people, would do this kind of thing? Because that officer is just very fearful for his position, for his job, for his life. There's nothing courageous about taking someone to jail just because you said something that made someone else uncomfortable. So these officers, they are terrified of not doing this outrageously crazy stuff. The judges sending someone for 6 months in jail because they have the wrong thought in their mind, because they say something that probably made people from some race uncomfortable. That judge put someone in jail for 6 months. Why would a judge would do that? Because that judge is fearful for his life. There's nothing graceful, courageous about this. Someone could think coward judge putting someone in jail for saying something that offended someone else or offended a race. These judges are very fearful. I think in general, UK in general, this is a nation living in fear. Probably I'm wrong. Probably I'm not right on what I'm saying. I've never been to UK. I'm just going by the information I'm getting from news, from videos. But it seems to me this country, these people are living in constant fear. You cannot think the wrong thoughts. You cannot say the wrong things, because if you make someone uncomfortable, you are going to jail. Or probably someone is going to beat you up, do you harm, and there's nothing someone is going to do for you. The authorities that are supposed to protect you and keep you safe, they're going to go against you. Why? Because they're living in constant fear. Because, again, I go back to ignorance. Not knowing that this is your country and you're supposed to be taking decisions about your country. So again, what is my recommendation to the people in UK, apart from taking back your country, which is right now is not yours? I don't know if in this channel I have made a video before about a proposal I have about making changes on how you use your government for the benefit of the country, for the owners of the country. Okay? This is a system of changes that need to take place in order for you to be able to make decisions on who stays and who goes for positions of popular election like for example, prime ministers, president. You choose this person and you can remove that person if the majority says so immediately. You don't have to wait 4 or 5 years for that to happen. I think that whoever is in charge of the country should be in charge no more. The owners of the country are the ones that have to be in charge, not a single person or a small group of people. So as a majority, you decide to remove the actual prime minister, president, whoever is in charge, you can do it as a majority and fire that person. What I'm saying is the only way to get your country back, to have freedom of speech back, to have your freedoms back, is to get control of your country. Because right now, I don't think you have control of it, like most countries don't. I include in this not having control of their country, United States. I think that whatever President Trump is doing that is good, once he steps down and you put one of these communist Democrats in power, they're not gonna only revert back everything what the Trump has done, but they're gonna start creating another UK in the United States, or another, I don't know, another horrible country. El Salvador, same thing. I think the people from El Salvador are very lucky. They have a president with a good heart and a good mind. Very smart guy with a very good heart. How many years he's going to be in power? What's going to happen when he steps down? What happens if someone gets in power and wants revenge against Bukele? He's going to revert everything back, go back to old business and wipe everything off. Why? Because as in right now, even though Bukele is doing something very good for El Salvador, he has not solved one primary problem in the El Salvador, which is still the citizens of El Salvador are not in control of their country. Someone can come and destroy everything that Bukele has done and everything that Bukele, together with the citizens of El Salvador, have done. I think actually he can do 180 and start prosecuting people, including Bukele. Probably he's going to have to leave the country. When you describe someone in your country as being in power, that means that someone has no power, and that should not be. So with this system that I'm telling you about, you have someone that guides in your country. You have someone that directs, but you don't have someone in power, because that position of power is for the citizens of the country. The owners, the real owners, and those are the ones that take the decisions of who stays and who goes. So in this kind of system, you have a president that now wants to do whatever he wants. You can fire him in 30 days. I'm pretty sure, I have no doubt that some people hear this and they laugh like, what are you talking about? This is never going to work. This is the way governments are going to run in the future. I think the only difference is, when is your country going to run like this? Because I think this is the only way. Not only for your government to survive, your country to survive, but to have a good country to live in, when the citizens, the majority, are in control, not a very tiny, small group of people. So going back to UK again, wow, it's incredible. A nation that fought so much and so hard for their freedoms Look at them now. You open your mouth a little bit in the wrong way, you're screwed. Your life is screwed. Your family is screwed because you offended a small group of people. You didn't break any real laws. You didn't harm anyone. Nothing. But you committed the crime of saying something that a small group of people took offensive of. Horrible to live life like that. So I'm doing this live stream. Probably not even a person is watching it, but probably someone watches after it's recorded. So going back to this interview between Piers Morgan and Fuentes, Nick Fuentes, remind me that I feel bad for UK. I think in a way, Piers Morgan's emotional responses tells you a lot of how they're living over there in UK. These people live with fear. I think it's awful to see your country that you know that people battle so much, people went to war, people die for your country, and you see it taken over by another small group of people and doing whatever they want with you, your family, your country, your laws. My opinion, I wish someone could get some interest on what I'm saying and at least ask me questions about this system that I'm suggesting about taking over your country and you really be the owner of your country, because right now you're not the owner of your country. You pay for it, but you don't take the decisions. Think about this. If you have a company that you are the owner and you hire this group of people to run your company, you hire a manager, and you find out 60 days later that you opened the company and that you hired this manager, that he's stealing money from you. Imagine you being the owner of the company and you cannot fire that guy. Your company probably is not going to survive 1 year because the manager is stealing money, he's stealing everything. He's going to destroy your company. Imagine running a country which is the biggest company. For example, we're talking about UK. It's the biggest company, the government. And imagine you are the owner, you pay for it, and you cannot take decisions. Oh, but Javier, we take decisions in the elections. Man, once every 4 or 5 years, I don't know how many years is over there, one day you are the owner and you take decisions. Oh, we decide. This is a lie. You're not the owner. On every election in every country, we go through this process of simulating that we are the owners and we're deciding. No, it's a lie. You cannot run a small company when you can only take decisions one day every 4 or 5 years. There's no way to run any company. It's going to be a failure. That's why your government, your country is a failure, because you're failing to take decisions. I don't think you're doing it on purpose. I think you just lack you don't have the information. You ignore this information. That's why I'm suggesting to make changes to the government legally and peacefully, okay? So it can run efficiently and the way it's supposed to run by the owners of the country, which is our UK's citizens. Those are the owners, and they decide who organizes, who directs the country. But right now, it's a hijacking of the government. Who is going to hijack the government right now? We're going to decide every 4 or 5 years who's going to hijack it. Because it's not true that the UK right now, the government is doing what the majority wants it to do. No. In my opinion, like I said before, UK people live in fear. You cannot say the wrong thing. You cannot have the wrong thought because you are going to jail. That's a sad way to live life. This interview was very interesting again, like I mentioned several times. I watched the whole entire thing. Man, an airplane is going to pass. That's going to be loud. It was a very interesting interview. I watched the whole thing. I also watched most of Piers Morgan and Tucker Carlson interview, and that was just sad to watch. I think Piers Morgan was terrified to open his mouth and say something that will get him in jail. Like, for example, that he doesn't like, homosexual people, or he doesn't like people from a certain race. He will go to jail so easily. And Tucker Carlson, he was just having fun with Piers Morgan, because I think Piers Morgan reflects what people in UK are thinking and feeling, which is living in fear. You wake up in the morning, you don't know if you're going to go to jail just because saying the wrong thing or having the wrong thoughts. Sorry. If this video ever gets to someone in UK, man, don't even subscribe to my channel. Don't even put a like, but maybe just share with someone else that would be interested in listening to what I'm saying to you. I'm just not saying that UK is a shithole right now, which I think it is. I'm also trying to offer a solution. You can ask me questions about this system that I'm talking about. Again, nothing to do with violence, nothing to do with taking over the government, or no, nothing like that. Once you understand the details on what I'm telling you, you will go, hey, you know what? That sounds interesting. Maybe we can ask him some questions, maybe try to shut it down, because there's going to be something bad in that system that is not going to work. No politician is going to accept that system, which is going to save the UK. Just ask the questions. Don't subscribe to my channel. Don't put a like, but maybe consider just sharing it with someone else, especially in UK, that can listen to this message. You live over there. You cannot express yourself because you will go to jail. But where I am, we have freedom of speech. And we can talk about freely about these things, because I'm not hurting anyone. I'm not calling for taking down any government. I'm not trying to insult someone or trying to coordinate an attack. No, I'm just having an opinion about a situation in a particular country, which I just expressed that we're having in most countries. Same problem that UK has, the United States has, the Venezuela has, Cuba has, El Salvador has the same problem. In the case of USA and El Salvador, for example, it's just that they're being lucky that you got someone that is taking their decisions based on the interests of the majority of the people in the country. But what's going to happen again? I just talk about this. What's going to happen when Bukele and Trump step down? Probably they're going to have to run from their country because they're going to get attacked. In the case of the United States, if you put a Democrat in power and as a president, man, I think he's going to destroy the United States. I think USA is going to go back like 100 years, and probably Trump will have to move out of the country just so he doesn't go to jail for anything. In the case of Bukele, for how many years he's going to be president? why these countries have the same problem as the UK, as Venezuela, because the government structure, okay, is wrong. The government structure used to work many years ago. It doesn't work at all today because, listen to this, it's my opinion, I could be wrong. The government structure today allows for the government to be hijacked. There's supposed to be separations of power. It's a big lie. You know, you can make treaties with these supposedly separated parts of the government. It's just a big lie. If you have the same person in control of the money, the guns, and the power, you're screwed. Like in the case of UK, Venezuela. So these forms of government today go against the citizens of the country. Anybody that gets into power in these positions with a little bit of malicious thinking probably going to end up destroying your life, your company, like in the case of UK. Wow, another airplane passing. I live very close to the airport, so there's nothing I can do about it. Well, I started this live stream with the title Christianity is a Big Lie, with proof. I talk about these things about Christianity, about any religion. It's just nothing to do against Christianity only. I think the belief in any God is going to destroy your life. It's going to destroy the country. Because the belief in any God brings with it conflict. If you don't believe me, just take up a group of people that are never introduced to a God. You present a God, whichever God you prefer, and you will immediately divide that group of people, because there's going to be people that believe and people that don't believe. You destroy that society. And if you see the countries that probably believe the most in a God, they have the most problems. Not necessarily has to be like that or it is like that, but believing in gods is a big problem in my humble opinion. So Christianity is a big lie, and this is very, very easily to prove. Very simple. Most people don't want to hear it, because believing in gods has nothing to do with believing in God. Has everything to do with your beliefs, your feelings, what you're feeling right now. If one God makes sense, make you feel good, you believe in that God. If that God doesn't make you feel good, you find some other God. You shop around for a God. Today I was listening to a podcast of people debating about which God is better, which God is real, and which one is not real. It's kind of funny to listen to, because we're not really talking about gods. We're talking about emotions, feelings. Which God feels better? It's a belief. It's not real. One belief feels better than the other belief. I used to believe in the Muslim God. Now I believe in the Christian God. Why? Because the Christian God is the real God. No. The other God used to feel good to you. It doesn't feel good anymore. Now this God feels good to you. The belief in that God feels better to you. So whatever happens to the other God, is still God or not God? Yes, no, it's not God. This is the real God. Okay, whatever. Like a ex-girlfriend used to say, whatever tickles your pickle. Whatever makes you happy. This God or the other God. So one of the things that I find interesting in watching these debates online about which God is better is just, you can have a little bit of a laugh, because at the end, 99.99999 of these debates, nobody agrees in anything, because you cannot debate with feelings. You cannot try to rationalize with feelings, and people believe by feelings, not by being rational. No. The God feels good, you believe. The God doesn't feel good, you don't believe. We don't have to make it any more complicated. So it's been almost 1 hour. I don't see anybody on the. Oh, there's one person probably in the live stream. You can ask me any questions. I can always have, I think, someone in video also if you want to have a conversation. But it's been almost an hour. Normally, if I don't have anybody asking questions or anything, I shut it down in 1 hour. So today, I talk about UK. I talk about the interview between Piers Morgan and Nick Fuentes. I also talk about this big, humongous lie about Christianity that is very easy to prove, that is just crazy. But I'm trying to bring awareness about this problem of believing in gods. It's just like reading the tarot, reading the palms of your hand. That's the same thing as believing in gods. If you choose to do it to Christianity, to voodoo, to Islam, to whatever, it's still the same thing. At the end, we're talking about your feelings, nothing else. So we talk about that also. I think that's enough information for today. Probably I'll go live again tomorrow night in case someone is interested out there. If by any chance you heard this live stream and there's anything in this live stream that sounds interesting to you and you think you can share it, by any means do it. I don't care about subscribing to my channel. I don't care about you giving me a thumbs up or not, but probably just share it. Probably someone will be interested in asking me questions about this new form of government or changes to a government in order to make it owners oriented and not small group oriented like it is right now. So thank you for listening and see you in the next one.